Hey guys, today we are going to be working on our second lesson on graphing, but today we're going to be looking at word problems and we're going to be writing our own equations in standard form. Just as a reminder, standard form, and I would like you to write this down just so that you guys remember, is ax plus by equals c. So that's what our equations are going to look like today. In our first activity, we're talking about money, okay? It says you have $15 in $5 bills and $1 bills. Let X represent the number of $5 bills you have and Y represent the number of $1 bills you have. For each $5 bill we have, that's going to count for $5 of our total, and every $1 bill is going to represent one of those $15 that we have. So our equation is going to look like 5x plus y needs to equal 15. Okay? So this 5 represents the amount that each $5 bill represents in dollars. And technically this y could have a 1 in front of it because every dollar bill is going to have a face value of 1. And all of that together needs to equal 15. Okay, and that's how I derive that equation. Okay, now it says to graph this equation to show all the different dollar bill combinations. You guys know that we cannot graph an equation unless it is in y equals mx plus b form. So we are going to convert 5x plus 1y equals 15 into slope-intercept form. Please pause and try to convert this all by yourself because you are going to be expected to do that tomorrow on your check for understanding, and we should have a good understanding of how to do that by now. Okay? Go ahead and pause. So after converting, we should have subtracted 5x from both sides, and we get, sorry about that, y equals negative 5x plus 15 as our final equation. In order to graph this, we know that our slope, which I'll put in yellow, is negative 5, and our y-intercept is 15. So I'm going to go ahead and graph this. When we're graphing word problems, it's really, really helpful if we label our axis with what our variables actually are. In this case, x is the number of $5 bills I have. So I'm going to put $5 bills here, and y is equal to $1 bills. So I'm going to label $1 bills here. Okay, so y equals negative 5x plus 15. This is a regular scale of 1. So I'm going to start at 15. Which is right here. I'm going to double check that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep. And we're going to go down 5 and over 1 because a slope of negative 5 is really a slope of negative 5 over 1. So I'm going to go down 5 over 1. So I'm going to move down 5 over 1, down 5 over 1, and down 5 over 1. So there's 4 different possibilities for the different combination of bills that I can have. So the ordered pairs on the graph represent just that. The different combinations of $1 and $5 bills. That total $15, of course. How many $1 bills would you have if you had 2 $5 bills? Well, my axis for $5 bills is right here. So I'm going to go over to 2 and see where this intersects. If I have 2 $5 bills, I should have 5 $1 bill because this point is 2, 5, which makes sense because if I have 2 $5 bills, that would equal $10. 5 $1 bills would give me $15. So I would have 5 $1 bills. How many $5 bills would you have if you had 10 $1 bills? So now I'm looking at 10 on this y-axis. So I'm going to go up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go over and look, I have one $5 bill. So I have one $5 bill. Okay, find and describe the x and y intercepts for this context. Our x and y intercepts, our y-intercept is 15. Our x-intercept is also 15. The difference is this point is 0, 15, and this point is 15, 0. So, I'm sorry, that's not 15, 0. I don't know what I was talking about. It's 3, 0. Okay. Now, what this means is that if I have no $5 bills, I would have 15 ones, so that describes the y-intercept. And if I have no $1 bills, I would have 3 $5 bills, which describes the x-intercept. Okay, our second activity is the age puzzle. Now, this says the difference between Lily's age and twice Kenny's age is 6 years. We know if we're doubling Kenny's age, that's going to be important. We're going to multiply his age by 2, so that's going to be important. Lily is older than Kenny. Let x represent Lily's age and y represent Kenny's age. Write an equation that represents all the possible different ages that Lily and Kenny can be. All right, so here's the important piece of information. The difference between Lily's age and twice Kenny's age equals 6 years, okay? That's important. Another important piece of information is that Lily is older than Kenny. What they really mean here is Lily is older than twice Kenny's age. So the difference between Lily, who is just her age, and twice Kenny's age, remember difference means subtract here, is equal to 6 years. Okay? So that's how I derived my equation. X is equal to Lily's age. I subtract that. I subtract twice Kenny's age from Lily's age, and the difference is 6 years. Okay? Now, graph this equation. We can't graph this until it's in y equals, until it's in slope-intercept form. So I need to take this equation and solve for y. I want you to try to do this by yourself and try to graph it by yourself, okay? Then I would also like you to try C and D on your own, okay? I know you guys can do it. Remember, this is just rough draft thinking. It's okay if you have to go back and fix your errors. Please pause and try it on your own. Okay, so hopefully you subtracted x on both sides, and you were left with negative 2y is equal to negative x plus 6. Then we're going to divide by negative 2. Make sure you're keeping track of your negative signs because this will end up being y equals positive 1/2 x, because a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. And then minus 3, because 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Then when you graphed this, we should have graphed our y-intercept at negative 3. And then go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and keep that pattern going. Now, this is maybe where you got confused right after this, because we don't have our y and x axis labeled yet. Remember, x is equal to Lily's age, and y is equal to Kenny's age. Okay, so these points represent the possible ages they can be. Now, I'm going to highlight some in red because they don't make sense, okay? Hopefully you guys know that these ages in red that I just highlighted would not make sense because you can't be a negative age, okay? So mark an ordered pair on the graph that represents the age of Lily and Kenny if Lily is 10. So I'm going to find 10 on my x-axis, which is right here. And I'm going to follow that up. Let me highlight this so you can track my thinking. I'm going to go over to 10 and up to where it intersects. And it intersects at this point, which is 10, 2. Okay? So when Lily is 10, Kenny must equal 2 years old. So they are pretty far apart if that's the case, right? Because twice Kenny's age is being subtracted from Lily's age, okay? And that difference is 6. Okay. We should also say it says mark an ordered pair, so make sure you marked this ordered pair like I did with the coordinate points. Might be helpful if we also wrote it down here, okay? Lists at least 6 possible age combinations for Lily and Kenny. There are so many, okay? You could pick any of them from here, here, here. We already talked about that one though. Here, 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 okay? All of those age combinations work. So just list 6 of those, okay? And how you could list them, I would list them as a table. And I'll get you guys started. If Lily is 6, which is the first one that I highlighted, this one right here, if Lily is 6, that means Kenny is 0. Okay? Now do 6 more. Go ahead and pause. Okay, so we should have that filled out by now. Moving on to our third and final activity. This is about a health test, okay? A health teacher is writing a test with 2 sections. The entire test is worth 40 points. That's important. He wants the questions in section A to be worth 2 points each, and the question in section B to be worth 4 points each. Let X represent the number of questions in section A, and Y represent the number of questions in section B. I would like you to try to write the equation on your own because it asks to write an equation that describes all the different combinations, okay? And then try to graph it. And I honestly think that you could do all of these problems because it's very closely related to our first 2 examples. So I would really like you guys to try this entire page first and then see if you get it right, because of course we learn math by doing, not by seeing. So trying this out on your own is going to be very helpful for you guys in the long run. So try this out on your own and then come back to me, okay? Go ahead and pause. Okay, so hopefully, I'm gonna pick a bright color for this. Our equation is 2x, because in section A, they'll be worth 2 points each, plus section B is gonna be worth 4 points each, so it'll be 4y is equal to 40 points in total, okay? When we graph this equation, we gotta convert this, so I'm gonna do that over here. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, excuse me. Oh. All right, I'm not going to draw my line today since I wrote it so far off. So 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 40. Then I'm going to divide everything by 4. and I get y is equal to, I can simplify this to negative 1/2 x instead of 2/4. You can keep it as 2/4, but you're not going to see all of the ordered pairs on your graph. If we simplify our slope down as far as we can, we'll see multiple intersections on our graph that we can count as different combinations of the number of questions. And then plus 40 divided by 4 is 10. Okay, we're going to go ahead and graph this. So we're going to start at a y-intercept of 10. And we're going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and down 1 over 2. Hold on 1 second, guys, while I answer Ms. Meyer's question. Hi.
Can Danielle sit over here and work on vocab? Or sit in...
Do you mind if she waits like 4 minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
You want me to set a timer?
Sure.
I'll give you 5.
They're going to love listening to this on Thursday.
Oh, good.
Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we're going to continue to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, and keep that pattern going. I'm going to stop here because it's unrealistic to have negative points and negative numbers of questions. So remember, this is section A, because section A is the x-intercept. Section B, x-axis, or x variable, and section B is your y. So let's highlight, I don't care, this one. And that point is, if I look, 6 and 7. So 6, 7, and explain what it represents. That would be 6 questions in section A and 6 questions in section B. Okay. Use the graph to answer the following questions. If you have 16 questions in section A, how many will be in section B? Well, if I look, I'm going to follow my graph to 16, which is right here. Follow it up. There would be 2 questions in section B. Then if you have 8 questions worth 4 points each, remember 4 points each means that it's going to be section B. So 8 questions here would be up to here. Sorry, I should have highlighted that. And then over there would be 4 questions that are 2 points each. Is it realistic for there to be 9 questions in section A on the test? Well, let's look. If we go over to, 9, let's look. That would be right here. And if I follow it up, okay. So you see how the point of intersection that they're talking about is right here. That is not going to be a full question on section B, so that would not make sense, okay? So it is not realistic because the coordinate does not contain both whole numbers. And there can't be half a question on the test. A fraction of a question, because we don't necessarily know that it's half. All right, guys, so that finishes up our 3 activities. There are only 2 practice problems for today. Do not cheat and go back to that. Try them on your own. Ms. Cater's going to post the answer key to those a little bit later. And for you guys to study for your check for understanding tomorrow, remember it's open note. So as long as you have been paying attention, trying your hardest this week, you guys will be just fine. After you finish your practice problems today, I would like you guys to go on Dreambox. You can listen to music while you're doing the practice and on Dreambox if you would like, as long as you're staying quiet and keeping to yourself. Do not distract others around you. Okay? Have a great rest of your